Hi, it's Chris. In this video we're going to show you just how you can access the various components that you may want to replace or service in your GE Stacker dryer. Keep in mind if your machine needs to be repaired, it's usually simple enough to do it yourself. Visit PartSelect.com, enter your model number, and quickly find and order the part you need. First off, the most important thing in doing this is you'll want to remove power to the machine. And if yours is located where the cord is accessible, you can simply unplug it from the wall. If your outlet is in behind your unit, you're going to want to go to your house fuse panel and turn off the breaker to remove power from the unit. So now that we have the power removed, we can start tearing this thing apart. And the first place you want to start at is taking these two screws out to remove this panel. Now the nice thing about these is you can remove the screws and that panel does not flop down, so you don't have to worry about it falling and damaging anything. But with the screws removed, you're just going to take a hold of it, give it a little upward lift, lower it down, and now it can be removed. So now with that panel removed, we can see all kinds of good stuff. And don't let it scare you. It's all individual components just connected with a mess of wires. So this is your main control board. It is the board that takes the inputs from your switches, your lid switches, your timers, and all that, and then converts it into doing something with that. As well as you'll see, this is where your fuses are, and these are cartridge style fuses. So that's where your fuses are located. This little hose is your pressure switch or your water level switch for the washer. As well as you can see where your electrical cord comes in from the back of the machine and connects to the main wiring harness. So the next piece I'm going to remove is this access cover. It's held just by two screws. And that allows that to drop out of the way. And now we can start to see bits and pieces of the dryer. So our next step is going to be removing this console assembly with all our controls. But the first thing you need to do is to remove this knob. So we just pull that straight out and we can set it to one side. So the reason you want to remove this knob in particular is because it connects to your dryer timer and it's actually mounted to a piece of framework in behind. So if we were to leave that on and then go to pull down our console, we're either going to break this knob or break that shaft off in the timer. So it's an important little tip to keep in mind. So now we want to remove our console assembly. And to do that, we're going to want to remove some screws from either side, and then we'll be opening the door and there's a few screws that go down this way. So to do that, I'm just going to first, I want to disconnect these wiring harnesses. So to disconnect this one, all I need to do is just press on that tab and pull the connector apart. This one is just a pull apart. There we go. Okay, so now I'm going to remove the screws from the console. And there'll be two more on the other side that we'll be taking out as well. Now we'll do the same thing on the other side. Okay, so we have the end screws off. Now we need to open the door and take the couple of screws that are on the inside going straight down. So to get at these two screws, we need to, of course, open the door, which I've already done. So now I'm just going to remove these screws. Now with these removed, in fact, it's probably a good idea at this time to actually remove the door off the dryer. Only because when we go to take this whole front off, you're going to have to be dealing with the weight of this swinging door. So if we take it off, which is very easy to do, it saves us a whole lot of struggling in removing this front panel and putting it back on. To do that, all we need to do is to remove the bottom screw and each of the hinge where it attaches to the machine itself. And don't worry, just taking those 2 bottom screws out, the door's not going anywhere. Now we're just going to loosen the top screw on that hinge. So we're just going to loosen that screw so you see we have some play in that. So we'll loosen this top one as well. And like I said, we have some free play there. So now all we need to do is just lift the door itself so that the elongated holes pop off where the end of the screws are. And now we can set the door out of the way. So now all we need to do is just to take hold of the console, sort of pry the sides out a little bit, and tip it down. So now you can see where the other controls are sitting in the console for your different cycle selections and temperature controls and stuff like that. So we don't have to undo any of these wires. We're just going to lift the console out of position. I'm going to just pop that harness out so I have a little bit of free play, and I can set that right there. So now we've gotten to this point. Before we remove the front, say you were only looking to access the timer of your dryer. You would go through all the process we just pretty much did, except you wouldn't have to worry about the door. But either way, we now have a console out of the way and you can see where your timer is. So you would just with a 1/4" nut driver, or you can use a 1/4" socket and ratchet, whatever you have at hand. Remove the 2 screws. Now that those screws are removed, we can remove the timer itself. There's your dryer timer, and typically when it's new it doesn't have all this extra little fur on it. As well as you can see your push to start switch for your dryer is located right here as well. So now we're going to take these 2 1/4" screws out, one on this side, one on the other. So now I'm going to take out these 2 Phillips screws. And you'll notice these are quite long. So when you go to try and remember which screw goes where, these long ones go in these 2 locations. We may as well, while we're here, take our lint filter out, and we'll just set that to one side. So now what we need to do is to get access to the top of the machine, because there's a screw right here and right here that we need to remove. So if you have a small step stool or something like that, or a step ladder, so you can get up and get these 2 out. If you don't, that's not coming off. So now we're just going to remove this screw. And to make it easy on ourselves, we're going to remove this screw as well. And the reason we're removing this one is it just allows this top cover to flex a little bit when we go to lift and remove the front panel. Now we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So there is another wiring harness we want to disconnect, and that's right here. So again, I'm just going to squeeze that and pull it apart. Now this harness is important because it runs all the way up to the top corner where your door is to operate the door switch. So if we were to try and pull this panel off now and hadn't disconnected that, we'd still be connected. So we just got that undone, and now we're ready to remove the front. And you'll notice when I do that, you'll see the interior drum drop a little bit. Don't worry, it's not going to fall out of the machine or anything. It's just going to not be resting on the doors like it used to be. So here we go. We're just going to grab hold of this, lift up slightly, and away comes the front. Just that easy. So now while I have the front off, I can show you again. There's your door switch. And if you look around the back, you can see there it is right here. So that's your door switch, and here is your upper bearing assembly for the front. So the front of that drum is actually sitting right on this section. In here are what they call glides. These are the actual bearings that the drum slides across. And these are a normal wearing part. Over time and lots of use, they wear down and you'll start to hear scraping sound. And when you do, you'll want to change them. If you don't, they'll continue to wear right through into this plastic, and now you're replacing more parts that you didn't need to if you reacted to that noise first instead of later. So now we're down to the meat and potatoes of your dryer. We've got your drum, we've got your motor, and in the back we have your heater. Those are the key points of the dryer. So now we want to remove the drum. And the drum is sitting in there in a back bearing, plus it has a belt around it that goes down to your motor. And that's the next thing we want to do, is detach the belt from the motor pulley so that it hangs loose and we can slide it off. So I'm just going to reach in with both hands. And I'm going to take hold of the idler pulley and just apply a little bit of pressure, moving it over to the left side. And by doing that, I'm creating slack in the belt so I can slip it right off the motor pulley. So there's my belt out of the way. So now that I have the belt off, this drum can come right out. I'm just going to raise it up in the front a little bit and then pull it straight out towards me. So now there's your drum. Pretty straightforward. It has 3 baffles in it that flip your clothes over. And if you needed to replace one of those for any reason, it's pretty easy. Once you have the drum out, you'll see there's just a couple of screws that hold each baffle. So that's pretty straightforward. Now here's another key piece that's a normal wearing item. I've already showed you the front bearings that support the drum. This is the back bearing that supports the drum assembly. So it's a composite nylon style bearing. There's a little rubber retainer on the shaft. It's just like an O-ring. And you remove that and then you can pull this bearing right off. But this will wear. You can see the way this is flopping on there, that it's got a fair bit of wear, so it would probably be a good idea to repair it. This is going to start making noise pretty soon. But again, very easy to change. So now we may as well look at the heater. As you can see, this is your heating coil. As well, we also have the thermostats mounted to the heater housing. And as well, we have another safety thermostat over here. So we also have connections where the wires attach the heating element themselves. So I'm going to disconnect those and I'm going to pull that heater housing out of here and then be able to show you those thermostats up close. So with a pair of needle nose pliers, I'm just going to wiggle these terminals out of place. Now, if you're concerned that you may not remember where all the wires go when you go to put it back together, this is the ideal time to take a picture with your smartphone or a camera or whatever, so that if you need to refer back to it, you'll be able to see exactly where those wires attach. Those are off. Oh, we have one more down here. There we go. Now with the wires removed, we simply need to remove the screws that hold the housing in place. And there's 4, sort of one in each corner. Each corner of a round circle. Think about that one. So there, now we can remove our heater assembly. So this area is the receiver for that bearing that's on the back of the drum that I showed you. When you go to put your drum in, it's going to slip right inside there. Around the perimeter of the housing, you're going to find a couple of thermostats. One is an operating thermostat. In other words, this tells the element when it should be turned on and off in order to dry your clothes. This one is a safety. If this area gets too hot or too much current's being pulled through it, through a problem with the element, this will open the circuit. If the overheat condition continues, there's another safety over here that will open up, break the circuit to stop the power going to the heater. Now this particular one is a one-time only, so this safety feature is there that if this has to trip, then there's something wrong that needs to be checked out. So it will open up and it will not reset. So if you have no heat, you're going to want to check this guy for sure. At the same time, this heater is held into this framework, and you can actually buy this heating element separate from the case, or you can get it all as one. So I'm going to need to remove the electrical harness off the motor before I remove it. So there, that has the harness disconnected. So now there's a bracket that actually holds that motor in place when it's running. So in order to remove the assembly, we need to remove the screws that hold the bracket in place right back here. It's a little hard for you to see, but once I have the motor out, I'll show you where that bracket is and where those screws would be. Now with those screws out, I'm going to remove these ones here. That long one. This long one. And we'll take this screw out. So this is actually holding, again, another operating thermostat that's actually measuring the air temperature off the blower. So now there's your complete mower and blower assembly. Now the screws that I had to remove in the back, that's easy to see when you can get in there, but I really couldn't show you on camera, was one screw right here, one screw right here, and there was a third one that actually holds a ground wire in place that had to be removed. But with that removed, now you can see this little switch. This one, the arm from the idler pulley, operates this. So if your belt breaks, the idler pulley will swing over and it'll hit that switch and it'll shut your dryer down. So if you turn your dryer on and the drum doesn't start turning, it's a good possibility your belt may have broken. So you can tell that very quickly just by spinning the drum by hand. If it turns really easy, then the belt's broken, and this is the guy that shut it off. And if you need to change your motor, there's a clip here and a clamp here that you would remove, and that'll allow you to remove this motor right from the bracket. And the only thing you would have to do is to unscrew this pulley, this blower pulley, off the end of the motor, but it just threads off. So there you go. Now we've been able to show you where all the key components of your dryer are located. Now it might seem a little intimidating, but if you just take your time and go through it, it's that easy to take it apart. And really, the chances are most of this you'll never have to touch. The belt is a normal wearing part, and those bearings that I showed you on the front, and the one that goes on the back of the drum. And again, all that came out pretty easy, but just by taking some screws out.